Shalom. 2 weeks ago, we read Parshat Shmini, and we wrestled with the most difficult and puzzling passage describing the deaths of Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron HaKohen, Aaron the high priest, for reasons that are not explicitly spelled out for us in the Torah. Our tradition offers a variety of explanations why these two young priests died, what they might have done wrong, but no specific explicit reason is actually given by the Torah. And the response to the news of their deaths by Moshe is to continue to instruct Aaron and his family how they are to proceed. Aaron's response, it says in the Torah, Vayidom Aharon, his response is to retreat into silence. And then the parasha Shmini continues, leading into the next two parshiot, Tazria and Metzorah, which we read last week, with barely any reference to this terrible tragedy. It is only this week, as we begin the first of two parshiot, Achrei Mot-Kedoshim, that the narrative picks up in the aftermath of the deaths of Nadav and Avihu. And so while on the one hand we're left wondering what exactly was the reason that they were killed by the fire that apparently comes from God and wipes them out of existence, on the other hand, there's a second puzzle which has concerned me, and that is trying to figure out why the Torah doesn't continue immediately with this difficult narrative, this story of Nadav and Avihu, and what happens in the aftermath of their deaths. Perhaps the answer lay in the unfolding Jewish history and more recent events, as I find parallels between this puzzle and the Jewish calendar, the Hebrew calendar as it exists for us today in the 21st century. For in these last 2 weeks since we read Parashat Shmini, we observed several days that have been added to the Hebrew calendar only since the creation of the Jewish state of Israel. On the 27th of Nisan, we commemorated and remembered and identified with the victims of the Holocaust, the 6 million Jewish men, women, and children who were destroyed by the Nazis during World War II for no reason other than the fact that they were Jews. And 6 days later, Jews around the world mourned with the state of Israel as the young state, 65 years old last week, the young state memorialized their fallen soldiers and those who fell victim to terror. These two memorial days were observed in the days following our reading of the story of Nadav and Avihu. And just as we don't have answers to explain exactly why Nadav and Avihu were killed, we also are left without answers to the questions raised about why we have suffered as a people, and why the 6 million Jews were taken from us in World War II, and why thousands of Israelis have had to sacrifice their lives in defense of the one and only country that can be identified as a Jewish state anywhere in the world. But the parallel doesn't end just there. For at the end of Yom Ha-Zikaron, Israel's Memorial Day, Israelis transition immediately into a day of great celebration. And this year, Israel celebrated the 65th anniversary of her independence on the 5th of Iyar. And throughout Israel there were celebrations, and throughout the Jewish world and wherever Israel has friends, there are celebrations. For we know that despite our losses and despite the pain that we experienced on Memorial Day and on Holocaust Memorial Day, we go on. We go on. We thrive. We not only strive, we thrive because we know how important the state of Israel is to all of us and to the world. The Jewish people are given a mission, and the mission is reiterated in the parshiot that we are reading right now from Sefer Vayikra, from the book of Leviticus. It is the mission of holiness. In Parshat Achrei Mot, we will encounter the holiness code, and it is our task to be a holy people, a Goy Kadosh, and a Mamlechet Kohanim, a kingdom of priests serving God. So as long as our mission is not yet accomplished, we have work to do. We go on. We will mourn our losses. We will remember why it's important for us to continue to learn, to study, to grow, and to fulfill God's mitzvot in order that we can complete the mission which God has given us to bring a certain kind of holiness into the world. That is why we continue to celebrate right after Memorial Day in Israel, and that is why in the aftermath of the deaths of Nadav and Avihu, the inexplicable deaths, we go on, we study, we persevere. We celebrate our existence as a people, and we need to remind ourselves of our purpose, our mission, our task as a people at the same time. Because the job is not yet done, we've got work to do. So I wish you Shabbat Shalom and hope that you'll have an opportunity over Shabbat to consider what your next steps will be in helping us as a people to fulfill our mission. Shabbat Shalom.
Rachel